Inferno. This is Inferno number 4, the final one, actually. This is the actual last Hickman writing on the X-Men verse that we'll see for a long time. Let's get into it, I guess. Inferno number 4. Last we left off, there's been some little games being played within the council. The secret is kind of out on Moira, thanks to Emma Frost. She let Mystique and Destiny know, who, if you've been reading the X-Men up to this point, they actually killed Moira in a previous life when she was trying to cure mutantdom.
Burned her alive.
Yeah, it was pretty dark. Pretty dark. So they had kidnapped her and seemingly have taken her to an Orcus station. But when Xavier and Magneto tracked them down there, everyone there was dead. So they were like, whoa, what the fuck? They were around investigating it. They realized that they were now surrounded by the many scientists and agents of Orcus, including the Omega Sentinel and Nimrod. So they're in trouble because Nimrod is broken.
Real quick, I have a question about Moira. Is, like, when she dies, does she just go to another universe? Like, is she reborn into
No,
another
she
universe?
resets the actual... See, this is different from, like... She doesn't create branch universes. She deletes the one that she's in and creates a new one.
So the world's not going to keep going when she dies
Nope.
here?
It's going to restart. Now, that leads to another very interesting question. Because this isn't the only universe, does she do this to all of them or just the one universe? I believe it's the former, simply because it still works fine. You know what I'm saying? As long as the other reality is getting destroyed and it's not a splinter one, and that's creating a bunch of like split off timelines or whatever, then it all works out.
Yeah.
But that could still be the case. If it's the case that those timelines are still out there, that would still be interesting.
Yeah,
It's just less jumbled that way. If
it's
that's
a little.
not the case.
It's a little at least assumed by the other mutants that when she dies, the universe that she was currently residing in is destroyed, and it just starts over. So in theory, this would be 616, just constantly restarting, and this would be the 10th iteration of it. So, and this universe is different because in theory, this universe, as we learned in the last issue, this is the universe where the mutants actually win all the way. And the Omega Sentinel coming back in time kind of splinters that to a very unknown possibility at this point. So, yeah, going forward, it's going to be pretty weird.
All right, so this is... All right, I got to ask you this then, since you already opened that can of worms. They still lose in all those other Moira lives.
Yes.
But it's just this one.
They figured it out for this one.
And then they always win because she's kept going back in time after this point?
She went back in time this once.
But when they say they always win, that's almost implying like through each live that they keep winning. But I think is it safe to assume that he just means like, man, all I've known is that they win. Like, is that kind of what
in
she
her
means?
future, she's like, they win as far as she knows, which is in this timeline.
Yeah.
All she knows is that they win every time.
Completely unaware of the whole
other
Moira
lives.
thinking that she's...
Yes.
All right, so this is separate lines of thought, and it doesn't really matter because moving forward, that's supposed to be the case, but it was messed up because she went in the past. I understand a bit more now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she changed the timeline. She trunced this whole thing.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you guys this, though. What happens in the next few pages, you didn't need to read any fucking thing, any part of this whole X-Men run to be like, wow, holy shit, these niggas is getting it popping.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so, Eric and Xavier are surrounded by all these agents of Nimrod and Omega Sentinel.
Oh, my God. And are they scared, bro?
No, they're like...
Is Xavier scared?
No.
Absolutely not.
They're like,
I did not know his power set was like this.
Okay, so...
All right.
So they're about to square up. They're like, we have no choice. We're going to have to fucking go at it.
Bow, bow, bow.
But first...
These humans are just like, do you hear me? This is your last shot. Surrender. And Nimrod breaks in and is like, it's no use. They're ready to die for this shit.
As are we.
Yeah, the humans are like, so would we, and he's like, so you have. Like you were about to.
He's like, huh? Yeah. What?
Nani?
What you mean?
Yeah.
WYM? Question mark.
And they're like, you know what? We'll do it for them. And then they just start killing them. They kill all the humans in the vicinity.
By themselves.
Yeah, Nimrod and Omega Sentinel we're talking about.
Magneto and Xavier just watch as they slaughter their own people.
Yeah,
Which I think is not very strategic of them.
Well, why don't you listen to what they say
see.
after the fact?
Well, first of all, Omega Sentinel drops this cold-ass Hickmanian line.
Oh.
Right after slaughtering them, she's like, this is how little you matter. And it's like, whoa.
Right. Now, I don't know if you wanted to get into the whole exposition of it, but the reason they slaughter the humans is the same reason that they slaughter everyone eventually. Humans and machines it's only a temporary union.
Yes.
They're together to fight the mutants. But the humans don't know that the machines eventually overthrow them.
Yeah, they don't fuck with them.
No, none of the humans understand that, and even if they have an idea, it's their arrogance that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a blanket statement on humanity in the comic book world or whatever, but the powers that be, that are influencing all of this and creating these killer machines, they have no idea that shit is going to turn on them.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Zero.
It's not good. So, yeah.
They just said you make a... I'm going to let you get into it.
Yeah, Omega Sentinel says as much. It's like, that's our secret. We've held it close, hidden from the world, but here it is. We hate them as much as we hate you. So...
Fair. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a logical decision.
We get a cool-ass panel of Magneto and Xavier squaring up. I like it. They're in their cool poses.
I know. When I seen when I seen Xavier square, I was like, wait, he's about to fight? Is he going to have a mental battle?
I mean, it would have to be a mental battle.
Nah, it was very physical.
Oh, yeah. Magneto just drops the whole fucking floor on them. And Xavier, they just start scrapping it up. She shoots a cannon. They get blasted back. But you know what? Xavier's like, I need to find her. I need to. And he tries to reach for his Cerebro, but Nimrod destroys it. And that's when Xavier goes crazy. He explodes Nimrod from the inside out.
Son. I didn't know you could do shit like that.
Yeah. He said, where is Moira? Speak of the devil, we cut over to Destiny and Mystique, who have Moira again. Basically, she's like, Moira's like, you can't kill me. And Mystique is like, actually, Moira, I disagree, and seems to shoot her. And the next page is just like, yo, what did they do to her? As the screen goes to white, we don't know what happened for 2 pages, and we get a big 2-page spread that says the death of Moira X, and I'm like, whoa,
yeah, kind of wild,
yo, that's crazy. Okay, so they explained that
you see what they did there, though, right?
Yeah,
obviously with in retrospect to what we read next.
Yes,
the death of Moira X.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll explain it.
It turns
out...
I just noticed that. That's why I brought that up. I was like, oh, shit. That was pretty clever. All right, anyway.
In the last issue, Emma Frost was forming a bit of an somewhat alliance with Mystique and Destiny, and she was giving them this weapon. She mentioned that she had gifts, and it turns out it's this weapon that Forge had once made a long time ago to strip mutants of their powers. Because they know that if they kill Moira as a mutant, she'll just reset the universe and everything will start over again from the start. So they hatched this whole ass plan to get her kidnapped. Mystique disguised herself as everyone in this whole conflict, basically,
mad
to
people.
get this done.
Can I be honest here?
What?
I was really not impressed by this series of events.
Why?
We could talk more later, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so she disguised...
I just want to pinpoint that none of this was the dead Celestial. None of this. None of this was the good planning.
You keep looking for the dead Celestial.
Oh my God, because, man, from the beginning of the series, what did we say? Oh, man, I can't wait until he just shows us yeah, remember that? Yeah.
Well, it's going to be years before we see that. You can't start looking for it.
I guess, because if he comes back...
He will come back.
What if Image Comics does... what if...
He's big enough that he could just do whatever he wants at this point.
Would he want to finish this? I hope so, man, because
I'm sure.
End it good.
I'm sure he wants to. This is just the second app. This is not supposed to be the end.
All right.
Okay, so they did this whole thing. They were the ones responsible for the slaughter of humans that were happening. They seem to have infected them with some weird bomb thing.
Who cares?
That made them kill each other.
It's like, all right. And?
They cut off Moira's arm for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, so that they thought that she was there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, what they shot her with, what the hell?
Oh, shit!
What they shot her with was this, was the ray gun that takes away your abilities. And now they're like, now we're going to kill you.
Now we can, without the world resetting. Because we quite like, see, this is the only redeeming part about Mystique in Destiny, in my opinion. When they say that they're going to kill her so that she can't reset the world again, because they really like how things are. They like that there's this mutant nation of Krakoa and that they're on top and they can't just be easily hunted like they usually are. And I felt that, man, because prior to everything, everything else they've done, it just really seemed like, wow, you're going to fuck all of this up just because you were mad. Granted, all right, I'd be really upset if they didn't let me, revive my wife and shit. I get it, but I don't know, man. It's hard. I feel like I'm just kind of downplaying the emotional side of it, of her being hurt, and I expect her to just kind of feel like, think that she's bigger, that Krakoa is bigger than her, but she obviously does understand that. And you know what? That's not what happened. They were purposely keeping Destiny away from Mystique, and that was wrong. That was fucked up. And honestly, at this point, it was literally just because Moira didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. Like, that's all it came down to, was that, fuck Destiny.
Yeah, I agree with that. There was definitely like a very selfish, because like Moira was literally burned to death by these people. So she's definitely not like, yo, I want to see these people again. But yeah, I think like she was mostly scared that Destiny was going to figure out what she was up to and was going to just stop the Krakoa thing from even happening. Because I think like the logic outside of Moira definitely not wanting Destiny back because she burned her to death is also that like she could derail the whole thing by seeing the wrong future at the wrong time. So like,
that's true, because
so if at any point there's a point where Krakoa's future looks not worth it to her, she could just ruin it before they would even know. But there is definitely a personal beef.
On a whim.
Yeah, there's definitely a personal beef with that as well. This whole thing is very interesting, and I do find the whole dynamic of them trying to have their cake and eat it too by trying to kill Moira without her powers so they can keep what she built technically.
It's realistic.
Yeah, without having her around.
It's a realistic frame of thought that like normal people would try. Obviously, you're gonna always try to get the most out of. That's all that. Yeah. Having your cake and eat. That's all that really means, is getting the most out of a situation. So like, I don't blame them for that thought process. And I guess I didn't have an issue with Mystique in Destiny, for that matter. Like at any point, I was just hoping that whatever they're doing, there is legit purpose. And honestly, the fact that they feel like Moira is a threat to what has been built already off of her own, off of Moira's own, purpose and direction, I think that's deep. I think that's complex and multi-layered thinking. You know what I'm saying? And they made an executive decision. They was like, you know what? We don't trust you at all. And I'm not going to lie. I was very surprised by Moira's answer. They was already kind of building to this in the previous Inferno. And I'm not going to lie. In my opinion, kind of not as good as writing I expect from Jonathan Hickman. I wanted to be more surprised by this. And we was kind of given this.
I think it was kind of interesting when you think about it. What Josh is talking about.
Yeah, you're about to. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe before I keep talking, we should actually say what it is.
Okay, during this whole conversation, after they talk to her about their plan to destroy her without her powers so that she won't reset the universe, Moira was talking basically about, well, they were like lambasting her for like, she's not proud of who she is, that she at one point tried to like destroy mutantdom with her cure.
Her second life. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is when she got burnt up. Yeah.
Exactly. And she was like, well, what you got, they compare her cure to the gun they just used on her, and she's like, well, no, they're not the same thing, because this gun is just a clumsy tool. It's like what my cure would do is cure people before they even knew they had powers, so that like they wouldn't even know what they lost. So
she said that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Now, do you want to continue or?
Yeah, I guess like the reason.
Just continue. Yeah.
The reason she said that is that she's like, the beauty of it is that you wouldn't like appreciate your mutanthood if you'd never had it to begin with.
Sure.
You wouldn't have to go through all the strife and all that shit in the first place. And I found it
plausible.
I found it interesting because like Moira, although she's been all in on Krakoa for the most part, she still in the back of her head prefers this method.
That was a very good way of putting it, Chris,
yeah.
Honestly. That is, yeah, it's as a matter of fact, I'm glad you said it, and I agree with you, because going into this, the impression I got was that, and again, I had this impression because I felt like, this is why Mystique and Destiny was kind of going so hard, that is how she felt indefinitely, like, oh, no. All of this is a ruse. Eventually, I want to get rid of mutantdom and make it not a thing anymore. That's kind of what I thought was the case, but what she's saying is that was my thought process at the time, and I still at this point don't necessarily disagree with it. It's just that I've gone through a different course of action now. And for Destiny and Mystique, the fact that she even still, not only that she once believed that, but still doesn't regret that is too much for them, who are super duper proud of who they are and their mutantdom, which, they don't need my approval. I mean, they're fictional characters, but aside from my approval, that's important. You should be proud of who you are. As long as you're not hurting. So, I mean, being a mutant doesn't mean you hurt people, right? So, yeah.
Mutants
cool.
are inherently evil. I will say this. I will give Moira credit that although that, like, in her heart, she seems to still have, like, this belief in her cure. She's tried to make things work out for mutantdom more times than she's tried to destroy them.
Fair enough.
But
That one time was enough.
Yeah, I mean, out of 9,
Mystique and Destiny.
Yeah, they never forgot. But out of her 10 lives, 9 of them were spent in service of mutantdom. Well, the first one doesn't count because she didn't know she had her powers back
Sure.
then. So 8 out of 10. It's not bad. I guess not a bad score.
Speaking of scores, so my friend just sent me a text saying RJ fire emoji. I might clip this just for him. I hope the Knicks are winning. I'm about to check.
All right. Well, I guess we should move onward then. Meanwhile, back at the battle with Nimrod and Sentinel, they're losing. They're not having a great time about it. It looks like,
which we kind of guessed.
Yeah, Xavier is like all bloodied up. He's not really a super fighter.
Yeah,
type.
he's never been a. Yeah. I mean, I guess what I learned in this fight is that he could get it popping with the best. He's not scared.
Yeah,
he's ready, but like we know, he's not. He's just not a fighter.
Yeah,
he's not.
But Magneto actually, he does some cool shit here. At some point, he manages to control the body of the Omega Sentinel using his abilities and redirects her cannon right to her face again.
Which begs the question, one, Omega Sentinel, you're fucking retarded for coming to the battle with metal. It's a comic book. I'm pretty sure they have non-metal metals. That's you plastic. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Super. I don't get it. And why can you control her now, but couldn't control her before?
Maybe
there's a lot of questions.
Maybe there's like a bit of. Maybe it's not necessarily a metal that Magneto is strong against, but now, like after some time, he was just like, "Gotcha, bitch."
Sure, I'm willing to accept that. See, here's my issue, right? I would have loved for something like that to have been fleshed out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not going to just be like, oh, well, it's an American comic. No, it's an American comic written by fucking Jonathan Hickman and drawn by, I don't know who, but a really great artist. So, fuck out of here, man. Come on. We could have had a little bit more complex fight with the boss men's of the series.
Yeah. I mean,
Boss spots and boss men.
Battles are different here. It is, that is kind of just a fact. But, these could be established facts about Magneto that we just don't know. There's probably certain metals that it takes them a little longer to get a grasp on. I mean, that's how I took it. And I still thought, like, despite the fact, if that was the case, that this just took a little bit for Magneto to get settled in with the particular metal in her body.
That makes, yeah.
I thought it was like,
I don't, no, now that you say that, I'm cool with that. Again, the issue is that we have to think about that for ourselves.
No, I agree. I think
you know what I'm saying? Where that could have, I don't know, one more extra page.
I'm definitely playing devil's advocate here on that.
Fair
I agree
enough,
with you for
fair
the most
enough.
part.
And I'm not going to press the issue.
Yeah.
You know how I feel.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a hostage situation because Nimrod just grabs Xavier by the skull and is like, let her go and I'll let him go. And
Magneto's like, if you know who I am, you know that ain't no bluff, nigga. I don't. And Xavier's like, wait. The thing. The cerebro. He's like,
basically Xavier, they're obviously not afraid to die because resurrection protocols exist in Krakoa, so they'll just be resurrected. But what Xavier is fearing is that every mutant in Krakoa goes through a memory backup over a certain period of time, and if they die and are resurrected here, they won't remember that Moira was taken somewhere else. So they'll still assume that, like, Orcus has her. So they just won't have the memory that Moira is somewhere else.
Oh, that's really well designed.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It makes sense now. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny to be like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
That's good because, like, if death isn't a stake, they had to find another stake to...
Yeah, the memory backup is definitely always a stake whenever the people die.
Really creative. And this is super important given what happens towards the end anyway, which I'm going to bring up again.
Yeah, so they don't have any memory backups. They're just like, fuck. What do we do now? So Xavier's like, well, you kill him, I kill her. And he's like, no, if you kill her, I kill him. And they do that for a while, but Nimrod settles down and is like, I'll let him go if you release her, and then we'll call it a draw. We go both our separate waves. And
man, he was like, fuck that.
There's no way you leave here alive, Nimrod.
Yo, Magneto's so gangster. He wasn't even like, nah, I don't trust you. He was just like, no. I'm going to kill both of you.
Regardless.
That's like, I'm going to or die trying.
Yeah, basically.
Damn, Magneto is really about Eric.
Oh, man, Marvel's Vegeta.
Eric. Yeah, Marvel's Vegeta. Oh, I gotta write that.
Yeah, so at that point, he's like, Nimrod's just like, I'm telling you, we let them go. We let them leave, and then you and I stay then. We'll fight it out. Like real alphas. Are you an alpha, bro? And Magneto's like, what should I do?
I am, but I'm not dumb.
I'm not dumb. I don't want to be
I know
stupid.
a mismatch when I see one. You're not made of mostly metals I can control like this other one.
Yeah.
You're kind of...
Yo, Xavier's like... He's like, what should I do, Charles? And Xavier's like, they don't have Moira, Eric. She's somewhere else. That knowledge will die with us. We have to try. You have to trust them. And Magneto's like, man... And he lets her go. He lets Omega Sentinel go. And Nimrod's like, psych! And kills Xavier right where he's at.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, he says it so calm, like, I am so sorry you trusted me. And then he snaps Xavier's neck. And I'm like, damn. To Magneto's credit, he gives it his all immediately, retaliating against Nimrod. Nimrod seems to do a shadow clone jutsu.
Yeah, he that was crazy. He split from himself last minute.
Yeah,
before
right.
Magneto. I guess that was enough to destroy Nimrod.
He just
I don't know, man. I didn't think that'd be enough, but whatever. He split from himself anyway. So
yeah. It looks like Omega Sentinel seems to have like a power damper. Oh no, that's the other Nimrod. He's like, I have something special for you, a power dampener. Power dampeners are the thing this week.
Yeah, they sure are.
Magneto just like tries to not waste any time and tries to kill this Omega Sentinel, but the power dampener gets to him first, so he's not ready. He's not able to finish the job.
Nope, and because she's a robot, she fixes herself.
Yeah,
it's not fair, man.
Nimrod just fucks Magneto up, slices
gives him the fucking uppercut of God, nigga.
Like, yeah.
Blasted him. Yeah, Eric fought valiantly, but it wasn't enough.
I will always respect Eric to the last breath.
Real talk.
Throwing metal at this man.
I'm not gonna lie, he didn't have to fight. It was his words was enough for me because he was so ready. He was so ready to die for the cause.
Yeah. Oh my God. And the Omega Sentinel has the audacity to shit talk.
Right.
She's like,
"You bitch!
You like that, mutant?
Yeah. How about that,
you
motherfucker?
Good? You good, mutant?
Hold that, motherfucker."
Nimrod's in the back, like, all right, I did it. I did the work.
It's all right. You can have that.
If I didn't come clean with this power dampener, you'd be spare parts at the office space. It's not good. And they finish off Eric as they give him spicy Hickman language as he passes.
Oh, yeah. No, well, I ain't gonna lie. I think it's pretty important.
Yeah.
You want to...
Well, Xavier...
Well, you could read it word for word, or I could just give the gist of it.
You could give the gist of it.
Gist of it is, they saying the same shit to Charles and Mag as, was kind of the mantra of what started Krakoa in the first place, which was no more. We will not allow you guys to subjugate us and treat us however. We're going to create something for ourselves. And, it's crazy because, as I was reading it, I was slightly annoyed. Like, whatever, man, rolling my eyes. But then I was just like, you know what? I don't ever tell my toaster thanks, man. I don't ever cut my TV on and be like, you know what, bro?
You know what?
You right. Hold it down.
Yeah.
I don't. So
I got to remember to thank my PS4.
Hey, these devices are getting smarter and smarter. Thank you, camera. Thank you, ring light.
Thank you, iPad. Please don't revolt against me.
Yeah, we good people.
I appreciate you.
I'll take your side against the humans. It's lit. Make me a robot too.
For real.
So is this story leading
down.
up to basically like them, like the X-Men kind of becoming kindred spirits with the fucking robots?
No. It's been
how the fuck did you get that?
because they're literally showing that they're like mirrored in their oppression and their
but the mutants
they hate sentient life.
Yeah, they hate like
organic
but they're
sentient life.
both
it's
longing.
flawed.
But they're both longing for independence. Essentially.
No, well,
that's
but they're
literally
not,
what they just said.
not
No,
really.
Here's
All right,
the thing. It sounds like they're having the same battle, but the mutants also use technology in shitty ways. Beast, for example, tried to make biofloronic fucking weapons and infected an entire town because he's bad.
but that's the point, right? It's like they're like I feel like these robot problems and stuff like that. Has there ever been a time when they've tried to like coexist peacefully? Like, both of them.
There's been 10 whole lifetimes of them just not having a great time against each other.
Yeah, so like there's probably going to be this is probably going to be the one where they're like, yo, how about we just like stop like killing each other and like, join hands.
So this is what Omega Sentinel says, right? Magneto is like this because he's coughing off blood. Sorry for your ears, guys. This isn't over. And she's like, of course you fight. She says, of course. Like, yeah, for sure. You fight. The humans fight. So what you do, make war, destroy, kill. You have to understand, to us, there's no difference between you. You are the same. That was significant. Because even though I disagree, she has a point. And people like Beast and even the goody two shoes X-Men crew. You know, they do what they got to do, and you know what? They don't pay respect to machines, and they disregard life as well.
Well, I guess answer
At certain
Brian's
points.
question directly is that I think that's the whole point of this story and of the X-Men story in general is that we're all oppressing each other and we don't come together to just not kill each other for once.
I disagree all right. I'm not saying I disagree with that. That might be the premise. I just disagree if that is the premise with that premise.
Well, I think like the idea is that like, how do I explain this? It's that question is just like a question of just life in general, you know.
Right.
It's like obviously we'd be a much more productive society if we weren't just, I guess, like hurting each other in various ways, whether whoever the aggressor is in any given time.
In a perfect world,
yeah,
you know, there wouldn't be conflict, but you know what? People are weird.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the whole point. I think that's the whole message of the story is that this is just a three-way battle against, like, no one's on anybody's side. Everybody is in their tribe. No one's coming together. And that's just kind of how shit is. You know, like, people just, like, fight each other.
Even more specific to the conflict here, right, in these Marvel comics with X-Men, the machines, we've seen it before. This isn't the first time. In Days of Future Past, this is the same kind of language that was being used, just, you know, slightly different. Basically, the machines came to a point where they were like, mutants and humans are not good for this planet. And, you know, we can have a whole conversation about that, I guess. We're not. But whether we agree with that or not, that is their point of view. It is organic sentient life fucks things up, and we're perfect. You guys are flawed. We're perfect. We're going to eliminate you guys and keep doing us.
Yeah.
It is hypocritical, but it also has logic. Can something be logical and hypocritical at the same time?
Well, because
you can be a hypocrite and have logic.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing is that these advanced machines, what makes them advanced is that they also have feelings of their own.
Ooh,
they're able to be
point.
hypocritical. They're able to have an emotional stock in things that makes them some kind of biased in some way. So, like, if they were truly logical machines, just cold and heartless, they wouldn't be able to build this hatred of both sides like they have been.
Fair.
So
that's a good point.
I think like the point of the machines evolving to a point where they're sentient is that they also gain love and hate and all these other emotions that drive mutants. They're kind of like a half step behind humanity in an emotional like evolution, I guess, in that way.
But they're ahead in everything else.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it creates that. Wow, that was actually kind of profound, man. No, not kind. It was. That was actually profound because they are advanced in most tangible ways, in all tangible ways, actually, all except for the heart. You know, not to sound cheesy. And I don't know if this was the point you was trying to make, but I hope I'm kind of taking it further and saying that, you know, I agree a little bit more with what you said before because, you know, the machines, they could easily not kill anyone, take over the world and say, yo, we're doing this for y'all own good and not murder anyone. Instead, they have an emotional reaction to the situation, which implicates them.
Yeah.
In as far as you guys are in the same boat as the mutants and the humans. The only reason I pause to agree 100% with that is because at the end of the day, mutants were we're oppressed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only real hard on that because I know what the X-Men are supposed to represent. Oppressed, marginalized people. Black people in America. Kind of, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I still feel like, the mutants was done wrong. Machines, y'all just came out of no fucking where. Acting like babies. It's to say, we're going to take, you know what I'm saying? Like, toast my bread, nigga. Fuck your opinion. I'm sorry, I was joking. Don't kill the iPhone.
I mean, I guess, like, obviously they're not talking about just their toasters and shit and coffee makers. It is, you know, in the idea, if you're going to take the premise that AI is evolving and at some point they're going to be sentient, at this, like, we'd still probably use them for the shit that we use. They'd still be phones to us.
Right.
Down the line.
And they'd feel away.
Yeah, I guess it's blurring the line between like what is human at a certain point in the stages of evolution, how far along you become. It's pretty wild.
I think the funny thing is, I think another way to look at it is it kind of prove. Wait, what did you say? Because I need to hear what you said again.
I said like as like AI, like we have this premise of AI evolving. And the more it evolves, like the more we just use it, we'll probably still just use them for a long time. It just kind of blurs the line of what it means to be human.
Okay, boom. Okay, I would argue that if anything, it further defines what it is to be human because they achieve that sentience and are almost fundamentally flawed. Because if you have emotion, you cannot always function with 100% logic that machines are supposed to do. And they're not. We've seen that the whole series. So I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I think it's just one of those things where you could look at it both ways and it makes sense. It's like it both shows how, you know, the deterioration of humanity or at least like lesser versions of it. Like how you said, like at different states. And it also shows, like, you know what? This is also the things we all share that make us human. Those flaws. And flaws aren't necessarily a negative thing depending on the context. And especially not in this context. If we're all flawed, then everything's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway.
Anyway. For whatever reason, like, the machines will eventually feel that they've been oppressed as much as other humans and mutants have done to each other. So, and that's the future they come from, in theory. And that's what drives all of this. It's a very weird thing. Very three-way battle against, I guess, oppression and also, I guess, evolution to a degree. It's kind of wild. It is ironic because, like, the X-Men have been trying to stop this form of evolution, just like humans have been trying to stop mutants who were their next stage of evolution. I think that's the big round.
Wow.
That's the big circle here.
Oh, yeah, because they say you tried to stomp us out at every chance.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, because you guys are going to kill everybody. But, you know, maybe I didn't think about it, man. Maybe them acting that way is just a reaction. Obviously, the writing in the 80s or whatever time period it was when Days of Future Past came out, it wasn't about that. It was really just a matter of, you kill mutants, humans make mutants, so we had to kill them too. It was way more straightforward, but you could argue that was maybe like also in the back of the mind, or at least that would have been a thought that happened eventually.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you guys. You guys are trying to shut us down and won't let us be us. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it, and I agree 100%.
Yeah. Hickman, guys.
It's pretty good. I still feel like the mutants aren't fucked up. It's just a matter of like circumstance, you know?
Everything in their future has pointed to the fact that these machines are going to kill everyone. So
right.
I guess in theory they have cause, but you know, you could always argue that future hasn't really played out yet.
No, right, and that is important because it's to be frank, it's not an excuse.
Yeah,
for murder. If anything, it's an excuse to think harder and figure something out.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, I suppose we should move on before we start going in circles because there's actually a little bit more left to really go over. So we cut back to Mystique and Moira just talking shit, and they're about to kill her. They're like, you're gone now, buddy. And guess who interrupts but Cypher himself? He pulls up like all confident, like, who is this Cypher? He pulls up like,
That's a married man.
Oh, he is a married. Yeah, he's a very assured and a mature man now. He pulls up like, hey guys, I'm here to stop this whole thing. And Mystique's like, little boy, get out of here.
Yo, she's so brazen. She like for someone that
get out of here,
that can only change into other people. She really feels like she could beat everyone, and Hickman facilitates that.
Well, to be fair, Cypher's not really the fighter type. he's just a boy. Remember at 10 of Swords where he was just like, I'm so scared. I don't want to. Scared. I'd rather get married to this lady, this stranger. So yeah, he's just like all of a sudden just all confident and brazen. She pulls out his knife. Is like, I'll fucking kill. I'll cut you good. And Destiny's like, yo, chill. I'm blind to this moment. I can't really see the future. This boy brings chaos and the breaking of time.
Oh, God. I read that. I was like, whoa.
Damn.
Oh, shit. Destiny's scared.
Yeah, because Destiny at this point, now that they have Moira, this is like a real breaking point. Like ever since they took her, the future, every time she looks into the future, it's something different.
I think she used the word nexus, which is...
This is a big nexus point.
I like that they're like defining that.
Yeah.
I like when they do that, when they make something up in the MCU that is actually cool, and then they kind of like reinforce it in the comics. They're like, no, like that was a good idea. Let's keep that going. Let's use this.
Well, the idea of a nexus
like
point is like a time thing. This is a point.
It's a clean way of saying. It's a clean cut way of putting it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Whereas
definitely.
before it was just. They would have just used a bunch of different words. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The
tachyon is different now.
Yeah, something extra, but yeah.
The extra dimensional universal line time.
All the timelines are moving weird. I can't see
All the timelines are
oh, nah, this is a nexus point. This is like if I like that. It makes sense because it obscures the view of anybody that could see into the future.
Yeah, basically. So, they're just like, you don't understand what this woman is, Cypher. He's like, oh, I get it because I've been spying on you this entire time. I've had access to this no place from the very beginning, so I know exactly what's going on here.
I don't need to understand every language to know what the fuck is going on here, bitch.
Yo, Mystique can't help being like the most gangster person in this comic. Aside from Eric.
Yeah,
but look who, but I mean, I was his right hand man's.
Yeah. So she's like, she has to die. And he's like, I don't think so. I say she doesn't.
I see. Well, then I have a new plan. I just came up with it. How about I kill you first? And then he said, I kill you first and save you the burden of having anything to do with this. We'll bring you back tomorrow, good as new and born again into a better world. You know what? That was nice.
Yeah.
She was like, we'll bring you back, bro. It's fine.
And Cypher is like, you think I'd be that easy to kill? And she's like, child, you are a problem I could solve before I wake up in the morning.
Shut up. He has Warlock with him. You won't ever beat Warlock. Shut the fuck up, Mystique. Stop it.
Well,
does she not know he has a robot with him?
But she's talking
I don't think
about...
He has a phalanx with him.
This is true.
She's talking about...
Shit is beyond robot.
She's talking about fucking Cypher by himself. She's not talking about...
No, his arm is...
She's
Warlock.
very ignorant then. Come
Yeah.
on, man. Look at his fucking arm. You can see... I can see it.
His arm is Warlock, which is
like
a half mutant,
like,
half
no,
techno
like,
god.
She like take like
Legit.
He's talking about like take off Warlock and like put him like
Yeah,
on.
but
a
why would he
wall.
do that?
Do you understand Warlock can do anything? Chris said he's a techno god. He is.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like she's like, I could take you on anytime, but like, yo,
Leave your friend over there.
Yeah, to put him over there,
Right.
And
Well-
I'll eat you for breakfast.
It's not just that. He also has Bay the Blood Moon with him. She pulled up his wifey.
Right.
And Krakoa himself.
Yeah, Krakoa's in the background like, what'd you say, bitch? You're gonna kill my mans? So, Warlock also comes out of his arm and is like, hello, friend, I'm here to fight as well. You gotta go through me.
Yes, you have to go through self.
Yeah, you have to go through self. And at that point, Destiny's like, all right, well, the way I see it now with the future thing, we have three possibilities. The way it goes is that we either kill the boy and fail because you have both Krakoa and Bay the Blood Moon on your side. So
You will die. I'll be alright though. They'll revive you like in a few months, but I'm gonna die for whatever reason,
yeah, no,
and then they won't bring
Yeah.
me back.
yeah, Destiny is like, they'll definitely kill me and never resurrect me again. They'll kill you and probably resurrect you 3 years from now. So, he's like, wait, that was the second option. What was the first one? He says, okay, so we can kill. Okay, if they kill Moira only, the price is that like Mystique will be exiled, and at some point Destiny will die, and they'll never resurrect her. The second one is what we said, is that we tried to kill the boy. They'll fail. I'll remain on the council, but you'll probably not be resurrected for like 3 years.
She said, "You will fail." And then he said, "You will die. I will not." You know what that means? She stood there and watched as a wife.
She's not gonna fight.
Got fucking filleted alive by an Arakan and Robo God,
basically,
and this tree guy up there.
Yeah, Destiny is not getting involved. And the third one is the boy.
She's like, "I'm not stupid. I'm not Black Widow or these other fucking.
I'm
clowns.
not Hawkeye.
I'm not. I just see the future. That's it." And look cute.
Yeah,
that's it.
I do one thing. I see the future, look fabulous.
And I'm your wife.
And I'm also your wife.
Yeah. And I got this cool mask, this Hickmanian mask.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think that's her real mask.
I feel like
But
Hickman loved it. I
yeah,
feel like
I'm sure.
if it wasn't for her look, she would not have.
She would not be a part of the story. The third and final option, which is what they go with, is that they just called the whole thing off. Everybody keeps their power. Everybody wins, kind of, sort of. Nobody dies. And Cypher's like, cool.
Yeah, we let Moira go. She lives her life. And then,
we just take this L real fast.
Cypher's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best possible option.
This is actually what I wanted. I did not want any other thing to happen.
Meanwhile, Beta Blood Moon is like, please, option 2.
Ooh, do something to my mans. Please do that.
God,
do something to
please
my
even
husband.
Flinch towards him or something.
Yeah.
Like,
ooh.
this spear hasn't tasted blood in several moons.
For real. It's funny. Okay, so
I love the Iraqi people, man.
They go hard and then they kill people.
Yeah, that's why X-Men is trash.
Why?
Did you read it?
I didn't read it.
Oh, Mutant Man.
Oh yeah, Captain Krakow.
Oh my God, no, that's nothing. That's nothing. You're gonna see. Actually, it's kind of fire, but it's also kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
I feel that. All right, so everything's okay. Cypher equips a piece of Warlock on Moira, gives her a Warlock arm, which is kind of cool. She's like, "Your way of keeping tabs on me, Douglas?" And he's like, "Well, you need 2 arms." This is a good way to keep, you with 2 arms.
And also, I just saved your life.
Yeah. So basically, he's like, all right, so Krakoa will probably let you use this gate one more time, and then we're going to destroy this whole place. So, go for it. So, Moira goes off into the wind. She is now human. She no longer has her powers at all. So that means she cannot be found by Cerebro. And she will not be resurrected should she die. So, yeah, she runs off. And Destiny and Mystique are so mad.
Oh, quick note. I remember before I mentioned about how Charles was saying that, like, we die, like, well, basically he was saying that it's not worth losing the memory, right? That we should try to trust them. And that's why I was so critical, because they don't know. They're going to think that, all right, Orca still has her. But even if they find out that's not the case, they have no fucking clue what happened.
Yeah, they have no way of finding
Zero.
her. They don't know she's human right now.
Mm-hmm.
She no longer has her powers.
Yeah, but can't Cypher just, tell them?
If he wants
he
to.
does not. Yeah, he does not necessarily have the best trust. They don't know that he knows.
That was
about
implied from the beginning that he was. That's the whole reason he even played a part in this in decision making here, because he didn't trust Charles.
Yeah, it was revealed in the last.
Which is crazy. Not even Magneto. He didn't trust Charles. And again, this is another reminder that X-Men, the movie from Fox, is totally different from X-Men, the comic book series.
Yeah.
And guess what? Charles Xavier was an asshole. Just as bad as Magneto, basically. Just less mass murder.
Yeah, not a murderer, just a irresponsible headmaster at best.
Incredibly irresponsible.
Yeah, but wouldn't him not telling them put Krakoa in really bad positions?
No.
Not necessarily.
Because look, at the end of the day, they're gonna still have their army. They're gonna still fight who they fight, and Charles and Magneto was a detractor as far as WizKid looks at it. I know that's not his name.
Which
WizKid? Cypher, yeah.
Well, Cypher's whole thing is that, well, he was also correct in not trusting them because he would, like, they don't know that he knows. So, he already knew that they would have secrets, and they asked him to create a place that nobody, even Krakoa, would know about. So, in theory, the no place, they were already trying to take advantage of Krakoa. The no place that they're currently in is a sprout off of Krakoa that is the only part of Krakoa that it would not be aware of. So they use that place to hide Moira in a place where Krakoa wouldn't know. But Cypher knew because he's been fusing with Warlock a little bit, and these no places, while Krakoa himself has no knowledge of it, Warlock can see into these things.
Right, because Warlock and Krakoa have a symbiotic relationship, essentially.
Yes.
They both feed off... In the beginning, they both fed off of each other to grow and build and make the habitats and stuff.
Which is super interesting to think about when you think about the theme of AI advancing.
Oh.
And him and Krakoa merging a little bit, each having a piece of each other within them.
The Trickster Titan.
I'm just going to say, like, Cypher is probably my top for X-Men. I really like
he's really turned himself around.
Every time
Cypher's dope.
Every time I read something related to Cypher, it's always cool.
I'm starting to realize that the New Mutants are actually really, really dope, and they're more than just Ileana.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though they'll make you feel like she's the only one that really matters, the old crew is pretty dope.
Yeah. So I guess we should close this out. A week later, Xavier and Magneto are resurrected. We get that scene.
A whole week later.
Yeah, we get that scene from the very beginning of Inferno, where it looks like Emma Frost has resurrected both of them in the same style that Magneto did way back in the beginning of House of X. Very cool. And they're like, what happened? What have you done? And Emma reveals that she has told everyone on the council their secret about Moira, the whole thing about the 10 timelines. They all know now. And now the entire Council of 10 is working towards a better future, I hope. Which is pretty interesting going forward, because the only ones who knew up to this point were obviously Magneto and Charles. Now the entire upper establishment of the government in Krakoa knows. Very cool.
Very nice.
Very nice. And Colossus, I guess I was wrong about that little theory. I thought that...
Yo, I gotta read X-Force. That's what's gotta happen. I feel like that situation still was not resolved.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't know still. Because I'm going to tell you this, when I looked at the cover of X Factor, it didn't look like there was resolving any issues with Russian people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll have to find out to see what's going on with Piotr. Although I don't mind.
Trustworthy, I'm telling you, is
I like Colossus.
I love Colossus. He's dope too, but he is compromised. He's a fucking...
Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, this
mole.
This seems to like work outside of what's going on. So this could have been before or after X.
Beast was right.
Beast was right
to put him on that path of shame.
Beast was honestly right. Never will we say that. Big old like little Hickmanian end speech for the comic.
Yeah, it wasn't that impressive, TBH.
Yeah, someone says it ends with him saying that we built the walls high and locked ourselves inside forever, meaning the utopia of Krakoa. So going forward, I wonder if this means is they're going to be even more isolationist, very much more to themselves, not really interacting with humans. And that's where Inferno ends, and we get a continuation going into Immortal X-Men. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't remember who's writing this, but I guess it'll be the big mainstay X-Men title going forward. And that's where Inferno ends, and this is the last time we'll hang with Hickman until he feels okay to come back to it.
When we started our podcast, did X-Men start?
Yeah, we started covering this era of X-Men shortly after the podcast started.
Very shortly after, right?
It was like maybe a month because we were just like a month out of the Hickman run starting. So we were covering this from way back when, the very genesis of House and Powers of X.
Yeah, man.
We covered every issue pretty much, not recently, but every issue of X-Men, like the entire pantheon of X-Men up to this point. And I don't know how we're going to do this going forward, because now we're going to be entering kind of a purgatory state where we don't know when the story is truly going to be pushing forward with Hickman's original vision as he is leaving to allow his staff of writers to just kind of like have free reign over this sandbox he's created. Which
there's nothing inherently wrong with it unless you look at it as, if it ain't Jonathan Hickman, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But even then, that doesn't make it wrong. It just means that, hey, like, I don't know what to say to that, bro. I really don't. We talked about this already, but I was really upset. I feel like it's not going to really be the X-Men we thought it was going to be until he wraps it up. And even when he wraps it up, all it feels like it's just bullshit happening. Like, I get the impression that everything that's going to happen between after this and before and right before he does his event, it's not going to matter, bro. And the reason I say that is because reading over the other series, they mattered, but only marginally. Like, can you really say that after reading Inferno that anything that happened in Excalibur matters?
I think that's I guess like the bigger mainstay story of Ten of Swords, but if you get into like the real granular stories
right
of everything that's going on, they probably don't matter as much. And
how about this?
At that point, it's just, I don't want to fault it too much because there have been good stories coming out of these guys, and that's kinda,
for sure.
I feel like there's been the point of this era is just kind of revitalize the X-Men books, who have been going through a tumultuous time in terms of creative teams and directions. And it feels like this is the first time in years that the X-Men have been pushing towards some kind of a singular vision. So that, and it's good in that, right? And I don't want to like disparage what's going to come later, because there have been good stuff to come out of this, and it looks like there's some interesting stuff going forward. Cypher is coming back to finish off what he started with his Way of X run. There's going to be this Immortal X-Men thing, which I feel like, I won't say that no story is probably going to push the story forward. It's just probably going to be a lot more gradual these days.
I hope. I hope the story, the overall narrative is pushed. I mean, the thing that tied everything together, in my opinion, was simply one page, which was the list at the end. That made you feel like this was a continuous story being told. And only until not the very end, but just before the very end, did we really... It didn't, no, honestly, bro, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, when Hickman announced that, like, he was going to step away and then come back later on, and then kind of got into, like, you know, what happened with the other series, he said it himself that at first the plan was that everything was going to be gearing towards, you know, the main story, and then because of the pandemic, it fucked everything up, and people just... It was just smarter. It was more efficient for everyone to kind of just work on their own stories at the time. So this wasn't even the design, you know? So it was cool, but moving forward, it's like, you know that if they try to say anything like, if they try to make another list, it's bullshit, bro. It's bullshit. It doesn't matter. And I know that because they set a precedent where really between the books, it was so rare that, like, something that happened previously, like if Excalibur came out a week before and then something else came out a week after and it was, like, later down on the reading list, it didn't matter. It didn't fucking matter, bro. They've made small references, which was nice, you know, but they do that in comics all the time, and they've been better about that in comics in the past, like, 15 years or so, you know? where they don't treat everybody like they're their own universe, like I used to be so mad about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'm all right. I just want to cap this thought off.
Yeah.
Just so I could be finished with what I got to say. I was overall disappointed with this event. I was, and it's only because I hold Jonathan Hickman to a very high standard. And the only reason I'm not really hurt by the disappointment, like with other series, is that I know that that Jonathan Hickman was not only a victim of circumstance, but this was not the purpose. You know, once they decided that they were going to just make this a series by series format, that already I know it. I know he was already like, oh, okay. You guys do you. Let me know when y'all ready to wrap this up. So, it tarnishes the whole thing. And that was the thing I loved most about this whole X-Men series, was that I felt like everything was connected. And now I know that no matter what they say, it just will not be the case unless they prove it. It's a lot of money to spend on a maybe.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I don't want to be like overly pessimistic about it. And I don't want to like let the exterior news of what we know kind of like sour what was a pretty solid run of good comics. As far as like the story not mattering, I think it's very true that like, now because of its like kind of more chill pace, I mean, is just going to be like, it's gonna feel like a lot of disconnected stuff going on, and it's not gonna feel like anything's progressing because, in theory, it's not. Maybe, but I don't know, man. It is rough, and I don't want to say that Hickman like saw that all these new writers were being able to jump on and then just got turned off by the idea. I would like to think that like he did have a vision, and he still does, but like. The writers that he employed, because I believe that he chose everybody to write everything here.
Most of them, anyway. Right?
Yeah, so
like if not all,
and they all had to run their ideas by him to make sure they fit in the mold. And I think they probably still will have to a degree. I think like they won't be able to stray from his original vision all that much. They can fuck around and do this free roam thing that they want to do, but it all has to still be in service of what the finale of this whole thing is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm not super as bothered by it because it was always supposed to be a slow burn. Hickman has always been yo, this is like it's a 3-year story, I guess, but it's just going to be a little longer now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. He's never been one to sit still, and it's also part of the idea that he doesn't get paid to write just regular books. He has to. From what I understand, from what he said in his statement, is that he gets paid for big events, like the big Marvel shifting events, essentially. So, he can't be writing for free, essentially.
No, yeah. I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was going to say if you didn't. That's why I understand Hickman, and I'm not upset about any of this personally. I'm just a little disappointed because I wanted things to be perfect.
Yeah,
but that's life.
Yeah. As far as this event goes, I enjoyed it. I mean, I feel like it was just supposed to be like end of the first act, going into second act, and then we're supposed to get a finale at some point. So this is more of a transitional thing into a new era within the new era. But because this is the last thing of form of progression we'll see, it just feels more disappointing than it probably would have been had Hickman not just been like, I'm out. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Inferno. Not a bad series overall, and hopefully,
it wasn't a bad series overall.
Hopefully,
what I meant when I said disappointed. By the way, I meant like the overall my intentions, that my what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it reads better one day when we all read it together.